part of the Earglue Media family of podcasts.
You're listening to the Cantina Cast, your home for thought-provoking Star Wars talk. Join Albert and Jonesy in breaking down the latest news, trailers, movies, and of course, your favorite characters from a galaxy far, far away.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cantina Cast. My name is Albert Padilla, and this is episode 310, The Clone Wars Season 7. Now, your ears are not deceiving you. We threw a curveball at you this week, only because we were fully planning to do the listener questions and answers, and you know, Disney Lucasfilm thought they'd just come out and drop a trailer on here. They got us super excited, got us talking about it, and we thought, you know what, we really need to sit down and kind of dissect this thing, break it down, Cantina Cast style. So to do that is none other than a very long, tried and true Clone Wars fan himself. This is the executive producer, Mr. Mike Rondo. Mike, welcome to the Cantina Cast, and welcome to almost season 7 of the Clone Wars.
I know, it's getting exciting. I wasn't, it's funny because amongst all this thing, I wasn't expecting it. I was asking myself, I think a few weeks ago, I said, well, we should get some sort of trailer. But, we saw that thing that I guess was on Disney Plus, or it was a little snippet of when it was going to air or something like that.
Yeah, they were kind of previewing all the stuff that was about to come out this year or coming soon kind of thing.
Yeah, and I figured, all right, well, that'll be it. But David also said he'd finished everything, late when The Rise of Skywalker came out. He's like, I finished actually this today. So I figured, all right, well, maybe we'll get something. But I forgot about it. You kind of forget about it and you kind of go about life. And, it's a new year. We're working on the show here and we're trying to do more of our coverage of The Rise of Skywalker. And then all of a sudden, and The Mandalorian, of course, we're still reeling all over with that, with Baby Yoda, The Mandalorian, and all that stuff. So it kind of, and I got to be honest, I feel bad for Resistance because I think everyone but 3 people forgot about Resistance, which, by the way, real quickly, I didn't think that was the best send-off for the show, but I'll just leave it at that, and we'll tackle that another day. But, so here we are. I'm excited, although it seems a little crazy that we had a bit of a tumultuous week last week because, we get the Kenobi thing isn't happening, then it's happening. Now it's not happening.
Yeah. There's been a lot. Yeah, it's been kind of just back and forth with all of this.
Yeah, and then we get the Clone Wars to kind of make us try to forget about it. So, I don't know. But that's my...
as of this recording, we're only 25 days away from the Clone Wars Season 7, which seems like it's still far off, but at the same time, that's really not much time. So we thought what we would do, I'll come back to that. I'll give you guys I'll break down exactly what we're going to, because we just don't want to talk about the trailer. We could, and we could probably go 2 hours.
Well, we've done it in the past. Yeah, we've done that in the past.
We're going to try to do just a little bit more there. So anyways, but let's get on to our news here. And I thought we'd start off with talking about some recent events here. And that being John Williams has won yet another Grammy. So he just picked up some more.
What a shock.
Yeah, right.
Unbelievably picked up more
hardware as of, this was Sunday night, I believe. So this is his 25th Grammy, sorry. And he won it for the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge Symphonic Suite,
which is odd.
Why
would you win for a theme park? But
had you told me he was going to win another Grammy, I'd been, Rise of Skywalker. Come on, right? That's what he's going to win for.
That's what you would think, or some other movie that he's involved with. But nope, theme park. Yeah. So I guess he didn't have that checked off on his list of 1 million awards and whatever. It's I don't have a theme park award.
Let me do that.
I'll take that. So let's do that. That type of thing. Does he have a warehouse where he puts all this stuff?
Yeah, it looks like that scene in the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark where they're just kind of...
That's where they filmed it. It was his warehouse with all his awards. So that makes sense. All right. Okay, cool.
In this, so in all seriousness, this is a good thing because it's John Williams, and we're always rooting for that guy or anybody else associated with Star Wars for the most part. Mm-hmm. And the fact that he won a Grammy for the music at a theme park, I think it says a lot about what Disney's doing there too, right? They didn't just go give this to somebody that's got no name and Yeah, they gave this to the man himself to do this, and not only,
but you kind of had to in a way, right? Like if it's going to be like backgroundy type music, I haven't experienced it. I played it, and I remember when I played it, I was like, that doesn't seem Star Wars to me. And I meant to ask Jonesy, like when he was there, I meant to ask him, did you hear the music? Because I imagine you're walking around, you really don't even notice it, but it's just there in the background and it kind of fits, right? That's how I assume it would be. I don't know. Someday I'll experience it, but yeah, I remember not liking it so much. Like when you compare it to everything else, right? I mean, it's just not gonna be like the main theme or any of that. So
yeah, it's hard to judge it. And I get what you're saying, because when I do listen to it, it feels like Star Wars, but it doesn't, and it is really hard to kind of get an opinion on those, because you don't really. It's until you get there and it becomes part of the experience that you really kind of can make a decision. I think personally. Now that said, I mean, what does that say about a guy that can put together music like that who doesn't even know? I mean, this is the same thing. This is the miracle side of John Williams to me, is that he's always writing this music and he's not seen the movie like we've seen it. I mean, he gets bits and pieces of it. They kind of tell him little things here and there, but I mean, he's out there on his own, out in the no man land, just composing this stuff and able to put stuff together that makes it become part of that experience. So I think it's just a little bit different. So anyways, all I'm saying is this is kind of a testament to how great this man is. If he can do that and still pull in another piece of hardware here at his age, and for a theme park of all things, I think it says a lot about his chops and all that. But we kind of knew all that.
Yeah.
So anyways, kudos to him. I know he listens to the show, and
yep. Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations, John. We're thinking about you. Give me a call.
Yeah, Mr. Williams. Yeah.
Let's talk about Project Luminous.
Can we? I don't know. Can anyone talk about it?
It was a joke.
I know. You tell bad jokes,
tell bad
but that's
jokes,
okay.
But no,
you do too. I do as well. So
Project Luminous. There's stuff out there, but it's all rumor mill right now, and so we're not going to talk about it. I just thought it'd be funny. I'm like, let me just put this in the show notes because I really don't want to talk about it because I don't know anything about it yet. Anyways,
yeah, nobody does. Yeah, but anyway,
okay. That joke didn't go over well. Obi-Wan Kenobi series. Here we go. Let's get to some meaty stuff here. So,
yeah,
if you have not been following current events, about a week and a half ago, I think, or maybe it was even just last week, they said, the crew has been sent home. I think that was what one of the headlines had said. The series was canceled.
From a joke account, right? Wasn't it from a joke Twitter thing?
Yeah, I didn't get into the details, but I just know that the line itself, right? The headline was super clickbaitish, right? And then they said,
well, isn't everything? I mean, that's the purpose of a title, though, technically.
Yeah, it is.
But
and then the next one came out just like the day after, saying, well, now they're moving to a TV series. They're moving a TV series now. It's going to become a movie. That got everybody all riled up again. And then Ewan McGregor came out and said this is all BS. He said that that we're still on track, but the filming was getting put. Yes, he said scripts are good.
Yeah.
We're pushing the filming back, though. It won't be now till January of 2021, and that's kind of where it ended. I guess my question to you is: any cause for alarm here? Is this a good thing that they're pushing things back to 2021?
Well, the good news is this happened earlier rather than later, which seems to be the norm with all these things. And that is the problem overall, is like, this is just the status quo now with Lucasfilm and what they're doing with just about any project, right? Like there's always an issue at some point. You're hiring, then you're firing, or then you're getting rid of a writer and all this other stuff. But I don't want to get into all that. I'm a little concerned, but and again, this is funny because I'm going to defend Kathleen here, and I don't typically want to because I'm not the biggest fan of her, but I think if she,
but go on.
I do, which is weird, but well, because I admire her in the sense that she's stepping in if this is the case, if she's feeling that the scripts aren't where they should be, and she's coming in and saying, hey, no, this isn't right. That's kind of what she needs to do. However, the other thing is, all right, you hired these people and they're writing the scripts and everything seemed all great, at Celebration and even going forward. But then after the Rise of Skywalker, what did you just finally get around to reading them? They're like, whoa. This is no goodie. Yeah. So I don't know. There's a lot that whole thing that's a show in itself, but I don't want to get into that too much. But I'm concerned. But I think they'll do this because I think I think Bob really wants this to happen. And I know Ewan wants this to happen. I think it'll happen. I don't think this takes them off their schedule too much, right? It's because they were going to film in the summer. So
yeah, it's not too big.
I don't know.
It's not too big of a push.
I don't know. What do you think of all this craziness?
Yeah. So I mean, we're talking about filming, and it's not like we're scrapping everything. At least if we take Ian McGregor at his word, the only thing that's really happening here is that they need more time to get all of this ready. And then if that's the case, then I'm fine with that. I mean, I've waited this long for it, and I can't even honestly admit that this is something I'm really looking forward to. That said, if it comes out and it's amazing, it's amazing. I'm down with it. Whatever. Like I'll continue to beat the drum of just give me something good in Star Wars. I really don't care who's behind it and when it's coming out. As long as it's good, it's good. So I'm not really too concerned about it. Not yet, anyways. Now, if things continue to change, to your point, then this seems more symptomatic of a larger systemic issue. But that's again probably something for another time.
Well, I'll ask you this: would you think this is better as a movie or these episodes? I personally think a miniseries.
I'm with the miniseries,
like 6-7 episodes or something. Yeah. You know what I mean? And not 45 minutes, like a full on hour.
Show.
Don't give me this. Don't give me this Mandalorian 30 minutes, 40 minute type of thing. Don't do that to me. I won't. Not with Kenobi. I won't allow that. So, I mean, well, they're going to do what they're going to do anyway, but I'm just giving because they all listen to the show. So I got to give my sound advice, here. So, we'll see. I mean, I don't know.
I would be fine.
Yeah,
I would be fine with them doing a TV series at this point than a movie, just because I'm not saying I'm not saying I don't want a movie per se, but given how The Mandalorian went and my experience with that, I want to live that again with Kenobi and the content that potentially could be here with Kenobi. I think it allows for a much deeper experience, and especially for us that are kind of nitpicking and breaking down lore and all that.
Well, let me ask you this. We'll dump into the rumors because it sounded too much like The Mandalorian, where Obi-Wan's kind of protecting Luke, which is obviously what the mission is. I don't know if anyone didn't see A New Hope or, Revenge of the Sith. I'm not sure if anyone saw that, but that's kind of what it is. So is it a bad thing if we get that again? Like if we have that same thing? I don't necessarily think so. I think it could be told differently. Sure, it's a familiar theme, right? But I think it works. Isn't The Mandalorian a similar theme? The daddy bear, the cub type thing, that whole thing. I mean, it's all repeating themes and everything. So is it a bad thing in your eyes if we have another one that seems very similar to protecting the baby or whatever? I don't know. What do you think?
So if you go back and so I think Jonesy and I covered this, and I don't remember what episode it was now, but I still stand by this until I see more concrete footage or know more about the plot or anything else. I still stand by the fact that, or the opinion of, I think the series is fine the way it is, if that's truly where they go, and I would imagine it is. But I do feel strongly that he would have to get off the planet, like at some point. And I'm not saying for long periods of time or whatever, but having an entire series based solely and landlocked and grounded on Tatooine, I don't know, for whatever reason,
it does restrict
you. It limits you, I guess. It could potentially limit. And well, we say that, but there's always ways they could expand what we know about Tatooine, and now there's a side that's in jungle and we never knew about it, that kind of thing. But apart from something like that, I just have a problem that if they're going to be there that long, we've just had so much desert in Star Wars, and we've been on Tatooine. We've been back to Tatooine so many times in the movies, the TV shows, the cartoons, Clone Wars. I mean, you name it. We've been there. It's like I'm kind of burnt out a little bit on Tatooine. So it does feel like to be liberated from that just a little bit, he would need to get off planet. Now, does that fly in the face of what his purpose and mission would be? Yeah, a little bit. But look at The Mandalorian. There's ways around it that you could do from a story perspective that would allow him to do that still.
Well, I like the idea of Qui-Gon getting in touch with him and still believing in the whole Anakin's the chosen one, and you need to go off and try to convert him, bring him back to the light. And I like him going off to try to do that, and failing. And then it goes to that line Obi-Wan once thought as you did, in Return of the Jedi. And you can tie that in there. Now, is it a stretch? Maybe. I don't know. But I think it would be good. we've been speculating on that since the beginning of the show. If you go back and listen in 2013 when we came back, that was one of our first episodes talking about this. We were championing an Obi-Wan Kenobi movie, and then we backed off that a little bit because at the end of the day, what story can you tell on a desert overlooking a kid all day?
Correct.
I mean, I don't know what you could tell. I mean, there are stories there, but is it worth a movie? Is it worth a miniseries? Is it worth a television series of a few seasons? I don't know. But there are ways they could spice it up. I don't know. And if to Kathleen's credit again, if she read it and she just like you said, you alluded to, we were just at Tatooine. We've seen a lot of desert, Jakku. We've seen Panarsis there, and all through the Mandalorian. It's like, all right, enough desert, man. We got to go to a jungle or something.
Give me more Hoth.
Yeah. At this point, let's just go to Hoth. So if she stepped in and realized, all right, this is too familiar. All right, let's change it up a bit. So
yeah, maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe
we'll
they're
see.
Rehashing some of that.
Yeah, I mean, as long as it's in the right direction, and again, it goes back to a success. I can't even say the word. Problem. Like it's a continuing problem. Hire a writer, there's a problem on set, you bring someone else in, or, that whole thing needs to get resolved. Like they got to figure that out at some point. Yeah. But anyway.
And let's end the news on this last quick tidbit. I know Star Wars Adventures, the comic book, may not be everybody's cup of tea. But nonetheless, if you really are into Clone Wars, and I thought it was relevant because we're talking about Clone Wars tonight, they are doing a 5-issue limited series through IDW. The writer is Michael Morrissey. Morrissey. I hope I got that right.
He sounds familiar.
Well, he's done some of the other ones, right? He's one of the writers that's currently writing Star Wars Adventures. But they are doing a little limited series called The Clone Wars Battle Tales. And the artwork looks cool because it looks very much in the same vein as the animated series, or even the very first Clone Wars animated series. But that's going to be 5 issues. That'll be out on April 1st. So, fret not if you're, thinking this is the last you'll ever get of Clone Wars. You still got a little bit of content there that's coming in. They plan to tell some stories that we've not seen with characters that we know and love. So, I don't know. Might be cool if you're into that thing. Okay.
Not really, but maybe I'll check it out.
All right, let's get into our main show. And I thought we'd start with so what we want to do is talk about the trailer, and also I wanted to touch on the poster because that looks really cool and that got released. And then maybe just kind of talk about what we hope to see and expect in the Clone Wars that we're not aware of, or maybe things that we would like to see, that sort of thing. So we can maybe turn this into an actual show. But let's start with the poster. This looks really good. Like, I love this poster.
The only thing, like the new animation, I like it, and it seems like a good way to honor what was done previously. But Obi-Wan seems off.
Does he?
To me, like he seems more wooden compared to like Ahsoka, Rex, Maul, and Anakin. Like he just seems, I don't know. Maybe it's the beard.
No, I get what
because we go. You know what I mean? Like it's too sharp compared to the others, I guess, is what the thing. See, we go back to Obi-Wan's beard, so Jones would be happy about that.
No, here, I get what you're saying, because so if you watch the Clone Wars from seasons 1 through maybe 5, I think, before they went off and went to Netflix, the animation...
Hell, even the micro series, his beard was always, chiseled.
Well, I meant like all of the characters themselves. The models were very blocky, and that was for technical reasons, and it allowed them to keep the cost down. Well, if you look at like the Netflix stuff that came out, everybody started to get a little better looking in terms of, a little bit smoother looking. But I get what you're saying. Like everybody in this one looks like they are running, you can tell. And Dave Filoni was talking about it here probably it was at the Celebration. They were talking about the new model engine that they're using and some of the changes that they had to make and that sort of thing. But yeah, you're right. Like
they're using the Unreal. Are they using the Unreal engine? I think, if I remember right. But go ahead, continue.
No, Kenobi's beard is where you're going with this. His didn't really evolve very much. It looks very similar even to like the season 1 of the Clone Wars. It is like he's wearing a mask or something. It's very blocky. I get what you're saying. So, but everybody else seems pretty good.
I'll say this though, when you see that shot of him in the trailer though, he looks badass. Like he looks good.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that.
But when you see in the maybe it's the poster that's it's like he didn't evolve, everyone else did with their animation, and it's funny to me. I don't know, but maybe I'm wrong when we see it, like, because like I said in the trailer, it looks, you're like, oh, all right, cool. He looks good. He's got that look on his face that's very interesting and intriguing. So
there's some so this poster itself, I mean, the coloring is awesome. I like it. I like they've got like the twin suns back there. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but
it's setting. The sun's setting there. It's very.
Well, if you look above, there's another one there. It's right behind it. So
I know it's Tatooine.
So that's cool. They included those. New vehicles. No, same vehicles except for Bad Batch's ship, which I don't remember the name of that ship now. But that's in the background, which is cool. So people may not recognize that. If you listened to this show, which I know you did, and went back and watched the.
Well, we know John Williams
did. Of course he did. And went back and listened or watched the YouTube cuts, the rough cuts of the Bad Batch series, then that ship should look very familiar to you, as well as the Bad Batch themselves, which are featured in the bottom left-hand side of that poster. Looks like we got Bo-Katan. Looks like we've got the two new characters, and I don't know their names.
I forget their names. Yeah, I forgot their names.
We got Rex, and we got the 501st wearing their Ahsoka Tano-inspired face masks, if you will. So, I mean, this all looks pretty good. It's all familiar stuff. And then, of course, Maul, we didn't mention him, but he's standing there in his familiar, infamous Phantom Menace pose.
With a new blade, new hilt, kind of. Well, he repaired his hilt, so to speak.
Yeah.
Pulled a Rey Palpatine Walker. Yeah. Thing there, and wouldn't it be funny if this is actually Rey's saber now? Like this?
This is the one that's actually the season.
Yeah. But yeah, I like. Some people were speculating that it was his brother Savage, but it's not. Maybe some pieces of it, but it's not. He kind of pieced together something. But anyway, poster looks cool. I wish we got it at Celebration. Hopefully we can buy this somewhere.
This would be cool.
I'm not sure.
What's absent here is I thought for sure they would have included. Like, I'm trying to look right now. No, never mind. I was trying to see if maybe he was holding the Darksaber, because he does end up with it, and we don't see it. In fact, he fights Palpatine with it. Well,
no, that was prior to that. See, what happens? That was earlier. Palpatine fights him, then imprisons him. Then he escapes with Mother Talzin. I don't think he has the Darksaber, or maybe he does. I'm not sure.
No, he does.
But
he ends in season 6. Yeah, season 6. It ends with him fighting. So after Duchess Satine gets killed, because he gets captured and he gets taken away with Sidious, and then Mother Talzin frees him. In the comic, you got to go to the comic. That everyone skips that part. I know what you're saying. I know what you're talking about. Sons of Dathomir. We didn't talk about that. That's right.
Correct.
No, my apologies. You're right.
Yeah. So he loses it, and I think he gets it back then. So, but he goes back to obviously Mandalore and takes his throne, so to speak, the Siege of Mandalore, which is where this might confuse some people, to be honest. So I suggest you go check out all those episodes as quickly as possible, and get up to date with that. The problem with the Clone Wars, and it's always thrown people off, is the timeline. Yeah. Everyone's you jump around, but thank you, George, for doing that.
Yeah, anyway. And it's also what adds to it too is if you recall or didn't know, there were a lot of episodes that were on the plate for, let's say, season 3. And then, because of funding or the show was going to get moved or canceled, they had to shift things around. And so they got tabled, and then they came back and redid them, and then they shuffled them off to another season. I mean, it's just kind of, it was a moving target almost throughout this whole series. Also, I mean, this did not have a very easy life. Yeah, that's probably a good way of saying it. So.
It's very much like Maul, the cockroach of animation. Yep. That's what I'll leave it at that.
All right, so let's talk about the trailer.
Okay,
it's about 2 minutes long. It opens with Maul saying, "Soon the galaxy will be remade. The Jedi and Republic will die." We get that shot of Bo-Katan, and she's looking at a bunch of destruction there. And I'm guessing this is after the siege, or maybe.
After 66?
Yeah, or maybe after Order 66, yeah.
I think that's where it's going. That's my guess, is that's what she's seeing there.
Yeah, so
one of my speculations.
Well, let me do this before we go further. So I want to kind of make something clear, or at least try to clear something up, if that makes sense.
Okay. That's fine.
This particular trailer has some scenes that do appear to be either running in parallel or right on top of the Revenge of the Sith. And for whatever reason, I think there was some people going back and forth about this. It does look like we are going to get the Siege of Mandalore, but it does not look like it. Well, the Siege of Mandalore has to happen right around the same time as Order 66, because it is, at least from what I recall, as the Siege of Mandalore is happening, the Order 66 is executed. And so Ahsoka and Rex
novel.
and they're fighting in the middle of Siege of Mandalore. So we're going to get to see all of that. So if that's the case, if that holds true, and we have no reason to believe it's not, but I just want to clarify this, then this season would bleed right into and over Revenge of the Sith to some extent, which would explain later on we get the image of Padme and Anakin. Well,
that's pregnancy gate is what that is. There's a whole controversy with that too. We'll get to that, I guess. But if I remember right, I want to say season 5 of the Clone Wars, or before the sale, whichever season that was, I think it was season 5. There had always been speculation. We know how the show was going to end because of Order 66 and all that other stuff. There was always speculation of it was going to be right up to it. I think Dave has decided to go just after that. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Vader at the end there. This is just a thought. This is a little bit of speculation on my part.
No, I'm with you because it wasn't until very recently, probably until maybe 2016, 2017. Because that's when he started talking about it. Oh, had I had a chance, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you're right. It was supposed to end literally with the Siege of Mandalore, period. And that would predate the events of some of the stuff in Revenge of the Sith. But it does look like we may get beyond that, which I think would be cool.
Yeah.
I mean, the more the merrier.
I hope so. I hope we get I almost want to say, I hope we get what we see in the book of the Ahsoka novel where Rex and her are saying goodbye. You almost have to have that, right? Because then they meet on later on in Rebels. You almost have to have that goodbye
for it to kind of connect
for those two characters. I mean, they were the Clone Wars, right? I mean, if you take out Anakin and Obi-Wan here, they were, with Asajj and all that, they were like the heart of it. So you kind of have to have that tear-jerking moment to end the series, I would think. And I would like to see something later on with like Ahsoka on the run, figuring things out, maybe Rex himself, and then you see Vader.
Yeah, that'd be great.
At the end,
I mean, we could that aftermath would be awesome to finally see, because you only get that. I mean, it's all in our head, and we get bits and pieces of it from the book, but not everyone's read the canon book, right, or the book itself.
Correct. And I think Dave would say, you know what, we're just gonna do the whole thing right there. We're gonna just show it. Why not? I mean, this series deserves that in my book. I would love to see like Vader just before he meets the Emperor and Tarkin in Revenge of the Sith, right on the bridge. Like he's in his chambers and thinking about something, and then goes off and does his thing. Maybe he has Ahsoka's lightsabers and puts them in a drawer or something, then goes and meets them. I don't know. I'm just I'm directing this in I'm good headcanon now.
The other scene that we'll get to the Kanan Jarrus here in just 1 second, but the other thing,
don't forget my buddy Bakar.
The other thing that this would do would that scene where Rex and Ahsoka Tano from Rebels, when they see each other first, that scene already to me is emotional, and it's only because I read the book and only because I've seen season 6. But if they threw something in there like where they have this really heartfelt goodbye kind of thing, I think that it adds more weight. It gives it more emotional weight when you see it in Rebels all over again.
Yeah, because from the tone in the book is like, this is it. We're never going to see each other. We can never see each other again because one of us will die or whatever. Bad things will happen. So then when you see it in Rebels, it means more. And then if you actually have the visual of what happens in the book and that bookend there, I think it would be great. And Dave knows what he's doing. I think he will. I hope he will.
Yeah. All right. Well, back to the trailer.
Yes.
So we talked about Bo-Katan. The next scene here is Kenobi and Mace Windu, and this is right out of Bad Batch, so it looks way different. Well, all the Bad Batch stuff looks way different, but there is a moment in there where they're kind of surrounded with a few clone troopers. And I don't want to spoil anything because if you want, you can go back and listen to those episodes. We broke them down well before we knew they were coming back to season 7.
Oh, yeah. It was like I think it was a year ago, right around now. Almost. It was like exactly a year around there. Because I remember we were gearing up for Celebration and you guys did that. Yeah. So anyway.
But yeah, if you get a chance, you can go back and watch the videos and listen to our breakdowns. And so I don't want to spoil anything here because you may not have been there yet or seen that. But there is a moment here, and this is where this is coming from, is this fight, which is pretty cool because it ends pretty quickly. Yes. Next scene, more Bad Batch stuff. And this is actually that part this is so crazy to look at, this next scene with Rex coming out. He's got, I think, what's the Bad Batch's main dude? It's not Tracker.
Oh, the Rambo dude,
Rambo
right?
dude.
Is that the Rambo? I forget his name.
Anyways, hey, look that up while we're doing this. But yeah, so they're all kind of walking out, and they're about, and there's like a shuttle coming, and that shuttle I think has either Obi-Wan or somebody. But anyways, the point of that is this is right from the Bad Batch episode again, but the visuals look absolutely stunning compared to obviously what it looked like. But I think overall this animation looked great.
I gotta be honest, I'm kind of tired of seeing the Bad Batch because that's all we've seen. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is what they've shown. And I've seen the schematics, you know, the rough cut type thing. And it's like, all right, can we just move to the Siege? Like, that's just me. I mean, I know I'm going to like them. I'm like, all right, we've seen enough of them in my mind. Maybe because I've seen them over and over and that's what they keep showing us. And I'm ready to move on from that to, you know, the Siege.
Yeah,
anyway.
Well, let's talk about that. We'll maybe come back to that in a second because I do have a question about the Bad Batch and whether or not, you know, why are they so predominantly featured in this, and whether or not that's going to play into the Siege of Mandalore in some way.
I don't think so. I don't think
don't answer now. Don't answer now.
Yeah. No, all right. Sorry.
But it's a good question. We got Darth Maul looking as crazy as ever. Again, animation I think looks amazing here. I didn't recognize this next shot unless you can tell me. This is that ship coming into like this cavernous type mountainous.
Anakin's with them, right? And they're surrounded.
No, this is like the 26 second mark. It's right after they show Maul's eyes. There's a ship that kind of comes in to what looks like a spire or of some sort. I mean, it could be from Bad Batch. I don't recall what it was, but I was hoping you remembered.
No, I don't. No, sorry, sir. I don't.
All right.
I don't recall that.
Pull it up when you get a chance. Unless you're flying blind.
I'll try to do that.
All right. While you're doing that, I'll set the next one up because the next scene is a number of Jedi standing around what looks to be some sort of star map, a tactical map of some sort. We've got Mace Windu, Yoda, Plo Koon, Ki-Adi-Mundi. Looks like Cody's back there somewhere, maybe. I can't do the others just off the top of my head. Oh, but look, there's Kanan Jarrus.
Yeah, who cares about him? Let's talk about Commander Bakara.
Why are you up on her for?
No, Bakara, the clone commander.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't even.
Yeah, the Galactic Marines.
Right at the top.
I've wanted them for a million years in the Clone Wars, and I don't know if we ever really got them. I know we did in the Micro series. I think we got him, but I'm just happy he's in this, which is very. Now, this is where I get confused with this scene. We'll get to Kanan in a second. It was exciting to see him. I'm not trying to be a jerk. But, you know, we hear Mace say, I sense a plot to destroy the Jedi. Is this taking place right or is this before that? I mean, I don't know. This is what confuses me. Unless this is something, I mean, granted, that's a close-up of him, right? When we're talking, it's like a close-up of him. So he might not even be, it might not even be that scene. I don't know. What are your thoughts on
I don't know
if
it's the same scene because he's here and then that scene where he says, I sense a plot, whatever. That's a hologram. So unless they're cutting over to one of the other characters in the hologram, maybe.
That's what I took it as. Is like it's like the reverse. We're seeing the opposite side of that. I'll have to go back and look at that though. But
I'm trying to look at the backgrounds to see. I don't know. It doesn't.
Because I'm asking myself. I'm like, well, where the hell was Kanan in Revenge of the Sith then? Why didn't we see him in the? You know, I mean, granted, the camera angle maybe it didn't go that way. I don't know.
I took this.
That might be
just taking it at face value. I assume this is a scene that happens either early on in the series or like right out of the gate. We get this, or it happens as I don't know, maybe a flashback. But it's just not a Star Wars thing that they would do. I mean, it wouldn't make sense. It actually wouldn't make sense at all. But yeah, so my guess is this isn't happening, right on top of Revenge of the Sith. This is probably somewhere before. Although we know that he's obviously a part of Order 66. He witnessed it, right? So, I mean, it could be. It's just hard to say based on this. But the idea here that he's here, he's standing there, I think, again, adds more emotional weight to Rebels and everything that happens there, especially when because he talks about it a lot, right? Especially when he's training Ezra in Rebels.
And we've read the comic with him on the run, which was pretty good. That was actually one of the good comics. I like the comic.
Oh, the Kanan series. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, the Kanan series. Yeah, that was pretty good. So, and plus with the book and all that stuff with the New Dawn, it's a nice, again, another nice tie-in and a nice bookend to Rebels, I guess you could. Bookend, whatever you want to call it there. Which is cool. And I like Kanan. He's one of my favorite new Jedis, to be honest. I love this character, actually, in A New Dawn was probably my favorite version of Kanan, to be honest. But that's just, I like the drunken Jedi, I guess you could say.
Down and out kind of guy.
Yeah.
The fallen Jedi, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is good stuff. And I don't know, even if they don't, I'd be okay if this was all we got. But knowing Dave, we'll probably get some lines. It would be cool to see him talk and actually look up to, Master Balaba and be like, oh, I need help, whatever. I don't know, whatever it is. Just have that interaction because we don't really get to see that. I mean, he talks about it all the time, and he obviously holds her in high regard. But it would like to see.
Well, it'd be nice if you had a moment where they just look at each other, like have that kind of like like you just look and you kind of know what the person is thinking. That would be cool.
That's every scene in the Jedi Temple. You ever notice that?
Yeah, that's true.
Clone Wars again. Like when you watch the whole series, every scene has two Jedi that suddenly just turn to look at each other, and they turn back. And they're like, "What are they talking about? What do they know?
Yeah.
What do they?"
Sounds like a EGM meeting.
No, let's not get carried away here. Okay. All right, so you got Ben Kenobi scratching his beard. That's so typical of Kenobi. I've never seen that. Here's a good one. So it cuts them back over to Maul, who looks to be trying to extrapolate some data a la Kylo Ren. I'm just going to say that because that's the first thing that comes to mind. But that looks like Jesse there because of the tattoos on his head.
Yeah, that's what everyone's saying. Okay. I assume it is. I have no reason to believe it's not. And according to my Clone Wars expert, Morgan, up the hall here, that is Jesse.
Okay. Well, there we go. That's a solid confirmation if I've ever heard one then. Because that girl knows Clone Wars better than anybody I know.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, even me. Well, she reads her encyclopedia every night, like her Clone Wars encyclopedia thing. That's every night too. She's crazy.
The only reason I hesitated whether or not it was Jesse was because the tattoo, it's hard to make out the tattoo because of the hand.
It looks like the signet there, the Republic logo there, or whatever it is. So I'm gonna say, okay, it's him.
So yeah, I guess the question is, the question that bears answering is, what all is he trying to pull out of his head?
Well, that's an interesting question, sir. Is this where Maul? Now I have to assume that we're just gonna have to get this off on the table now because this is the best spot to mention this. Now I always assume Maul knew Order 66. That plan, because he even says at last we'll have our revenge, blah 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 blah. Because they could reveal themselves. So I think he knew the plan all along. What he was getting out of Jesse is maybe like he sensed something, so he was pulling it out of like whatever was in his head, and with the chip, he kind of realizes that it's going to happen like now, like it's coming like right now or something like that. That's my speculation. I don't know. What do you think? Or do you think he was just kind of tormenting him to torment him for whatever reason? I don't know.
Okay, so here are my tinfoil hat theories or thoughts and theories.
Okay,
so one,
awesome.
Maul, whether or not he knew about Order 66, I always believed that he did. However, I could be convinced that he didn't, and that when he was saying at last we'll have our revenge, that he could have just been speaking in general terms without any specifics about, hey boss, yeah man, we're gonna get him this time, that kind of thing, and not really knowing what the heck the plan is, or he's just full of confidence kind of thing. You could see it that way, right? True. As far let's say he didn't know, and it was just a general comment, kind of to get his boss all riled up and fired up. Then I think that's a good theory that he is actually digging into his head to find out what's going on, and through that determines that's going to happen. Or another tinfoil hat theory is that he's manipulating somehow the microchip as a plot to have him turn on a Jedi of some sort. Maybe it's Kenobi, maybe it's somebody else. I don't know.
It could be.
Like he's like going in and hardwiring that through the Force in some way, or midichlorians. I don't know what he's doing, but he's reprogramming that, and Jesse's going to go off and try to kill somebody. Or maybe the last part of that theory is maybe that's when Rex and everybody else are like, okay, that's it. This is now 2 that this has happened to. We've got a problem here, and it's not just a one-off with Tup. So we need to go back and figure out what's going on. Let's get this thing out of our head. Or go ahead.
Maul is saving him.
Now, wouldn't that be ironic?
Well, I got a theory with that whole
give
thing.
It to me. What do you got?
When we get
we gotta save it?
Well, yeah, we got to save that to the end. Yes. Because it's going to be interesting. But I think there's a possibility there that he's taking the chip out of him. Like he's destroying the chip inside of him for some reason. Maybe to save himself, but he ends up saving the clone as well. I don't know. It's very interesting. I'm curious what that scene is because it goes by quick and you're like, whoa, what's that all about? And then, you move on to everything else.
Mike Ronda, are you trying to say that Rex had his chip removed by Maul as well?
No.
Just Jesse?
No, I am just Jesse.
All right.
I was
going to end the show right now.
The thing is, when we will go in the final scene of the trailer, well, not the final scene, but the trailer before it cuts to the main action there, you see a trooper laying down.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's Rex. Is that Jesse?
Maybe.
So I don't know. We'll leave it at that, and then we'll find out at some point. But let's continue, sir.
Okay, so we get to the footage we saw at Celebration. She's in that little jumper. And well, you got to go with the fashion, right? No, she's on the speeder bike. And so we've seen that before. And then we cut to that girl that we don't know the name of because we're bad hosts and probably should have done some prep work there. But she tells Ahsoka, why would anybody want to leave the Jedi Order? Which then it cuts over to a flashback, and that's
she's with Bo.
Yeah, that's a pretty powerful moment there where she's walking away from Anakin. Just breaks my heart every time.
Me too.
So we know that's happening, but and then we get Ahsoka Tano and Bo-Katan shaking hands and truce because they left on. I mean, Bo was at one point, trying to attack everybody. Yeah, kill her.
I mean, to put it
let's
nicely.
not mince words, right? But yeah, she was trying to kill them.
Exactly.
And so this is a big reverse, 180 in terms of their relationship because they're now coming together, obviously ahead of what's going to happen with Siege of Mandalore and Death Watch and everything else. So that's all good stuff. Yeah, we cut over to Ahsoka talking about the Jedis weren't soldiers. They were peacekeepers. She's talking to, I think, Rex, it looks there. I don't know. We get a...
Was it Rex? I thought it was Bo. It was Bo, wasn't it? And then they do the handshake?
Yeah, no, I'm saying, go to the next scene after that. Yeah, the next one after that. She's kind of faced away and talking to Rex somewhere. We get Anakin popping some clankers up.
What's funny was when I first saw that, I was looking for the yellow eyes. I was like, did he turn? Is this like, I was really looking and I'm like, maybe they will add it in after. I don't know. That would have been a nice touch. Cause if he had the yellow eyes, I would have lost my mind. I would have been like, yes, good. We're going to get right before but no, that's that. I think that's not going to happen. But I got excited for a moment cause he had a scowl on his face that was very, very nice. But anyway,
So yeah, Anakin's ripping through some droids, and then Rex has an interesting line. Says, "We clones have mixed feelings about the war. Without it, we wouldn't exist." And that's over a couple of different scenes, which I think is a really great line. And I don't remember if that came out of Bad Batch or not, or this is new dialogue. But it's really cool. We get a shot of Rex, Cody, Jesse. Who's the other one there? Is that Fives?
It might be.
Can't really tell.
Or is it Echo?
They all look the same.
Did they find Echo?
Yeah, it is. Maybe it's Echo. No, wait.
Yeah.
No, it can't be Echo. Echo's got no hair and he's like half cyborg.
Okay.
But anyways, it's a cool shot. Got some clones there.
Are they on Megiddo there? The planet that the Galactic Marines killed Kudumundi or whatever, however you pronounce his name. I can never say it right.
Maybe. I mean, that would be a link to
like the bridge.
That would
be
a link to that earlier, right?
Yeah, that looked like the bridge, right? So I don't know. It's very
possible.
Very possible.
As Mark Hamill would say. Next scene is definitely from Bad Batch, and so this is a bunch of clone troopers running out. You've got Bad Batch there. Then we get the big battle. This looks like the Siege of Mandalore. I mean, you've got clearly Mandalorians attacking separatist droids.
Yeah. There's a big hornet's nest in that whole Siege of Mandalore. You got the Republic coming in.
It's going to be awesome.
You got the separatists. You got Maul's faction, and then you got Bo-Katan and the other Mandalorians that are with the Republic. It's going to be,
and then Order 66 is going to happen, and they're all going to turn.
Yeah, exactly. So this is going to be now. Yeah, this is why the Mandalore is the show is. It's like there's very few of them around because apparently things go haywire from that point on, and
it gets worse.
Yes. This is another. Yeah, there's another siege after Rebels because after the stuff. Yeah, the Purge. So, crazy times ahead.
And then we get over to the bat-looking creature.
Which is funny because it made me think of the son and the daughter.
I know. So when I had watched this and I thought, oh my gosh, that's I thought it was a son in bat form. And I was like, oh, wait, no, there is a scene in one of the Bad Batch episodes. So this is where this is from. It's right out of that. I mean, it looks exactly the same. I think they're on Skako Minor. So this is from A Distant Echo is the name of the episode.
Is this the same creatures we saw in The Mandalorian, though? Are they the same things that took the blur?
Yeah, you know what? And, no, it's I doubt it is, but to be honest, I'd have to go back and look at it. We'll know when we see this episode, because if you go back and watch Bad Batch, there ain't no way you're going to be able to tell whether or not they're the same, because the animation is so bad. You can't.
It's like Mike Rondo did it.
So yeah, I don't know. It's a good question though. But it's very similar in design, at least in spirit. And so this is where one of these creatures picks up Anakin, and that's who you see kind of hanging there by the talons. And then you've got one of the guys from Bad Batch again, the main guy, forget his freaking name, but he's the one that's being towed there because he fires that cable and tries to go help rescue Anakin or save him, whatever. All right, next up, all part of the plan, and that's Darth Maul talking, but the plan. And Ahsoka's in hyperspace, and she's kind of like heaving, like something's going on, like something's bothering her.
Oh, like Order 66.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Like,
but I don't think so.
She would have to be in Order 66, but this could be afterwards.
That's what I.
And she's reeling from what's happened.
Yeah, or she's just sensing something is not right. It's hard to say there because you can't place it yet, because in your mind you're saying, all right, it can't be Order 66 because we know kind of from the book what happens. So she wouldn't have that moment there unless she's sensing after that happens, and she's sensing all the other Jedi that are getting gunned down now.
Or she's sensing Anakin.
Yeah, that was my other thing, is like she senses Anakin in pain, and maybe even Obi-Wan, and maybe Yoda and all that. She's going through an emotional breakdown, but she's on a Star Destroyer, which seems odd for. Was she on a Star Destroyer, or was she on?
She looks like she's on the. No, she looks like she's on the bridge of a Star Destroyer of some sort.
That's what I mean. So if Order 66 happens, she wouldn't be on that type of ship, I don't think, unless she hijacked the whole ship and took it, or Bail somehow got to her, or I don't know. But that was a puzzling scene for me trying to place it. I'm going to say it's probably prior to the events happening. I'm not sure. Maybe she's sensing what's happening on Coruscant, maybe? I'm not sure. Yeah. Who knows?
And the other thing is, I mean, it could be that she hijacked this thing, or this is how she gets away somehow, because there's really nobody else on deck, which is bizarre. I mean, it's just a really neat shot because there's no one else around her, and she's sitting there right at the front. She looks like she's on the bridge level of some sort. So, I'd like to think that's afterwards.
Unless she maybe she hijacks it, then takes an escape pod and goes and does her thing. I don't know. It's a puzzling scene. I'll have to go back and. Well, you know what? I'll just wait.
Hey, why don't you just wait until it comes out?
yeah. I'm impatient. You know me.
Okay, so after that, we get Anakin walking up, and he opens the doors, and Admiral Trench is there. This is from the Unfinished Business, so another Bad Batch episode.
Is he gonna? I hope he chops his legs off. Like I just want him to for some reason. I don't know. He was dead before. Okay. No,
I will
don't. Don't.
Okay,
don't
I won't
do
spoil
that.
it.
But
yeah, no. So if you don't, if you watch, you do get to see the fate of Admiral Trench, and I won't say what happens to him one way or the other in the Bad Batch episodes. But I will say the animation of him in this looks awesome. Like the textures and everything. I mean, everything really looks great. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where this scene is here. Okay. What do we got next? Oh yeah, that's a great shot. So the 501st standing there, Rex. They've got their Ahsoka Tano helmets on. I like it.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, although I think Ahsoka's a little like, whoa, guys, why'd you paint your face like
whoa,
me? It's kind of weird.
Look at you.
Like, yeah, dude, really?
Yeah. You gonna watch me sleep too?
Yeah, really. I mean, jeez.
I think it's a cool nod. All right, here we.
No, I.
Then we get to the cool shot. Like, I don't think I've ever seen Kenobi look this cool ever
in the Clone Wars. Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess you could make an argument for all time's sake too.
But he looks mad.
I don't know what's going on.
Looks really cool. I don't know what's going on there.
I don't know, because I want to say this is part of Mandalore, but him and Anakin are off at Coruscant at this point, right? Like, I think so. Unless this is the beginning before they leave, right? When maybe before Ahsoka arrives, where we see that scene from Celebration where it's been a long time, Master, or whatever, because he calls in Ahsoka or whatever that happens, and then they take off. I don't know. It's I don't know where this is, because you don't see much in the background other than smoke and
there's some blaster fire in the back, but I don't. This scene does not, and I could be wrong because I did not go review or watch all of them all over again, but I don't recall this scene.
It could be the
from
Bad
a Batch unless they've added it in somewhere.
Yeah,
but I don't remember him ever being this emotionally upset. In fact, he's pretty chill throughout all of the Bad Batch episodes. Now, if this is a newer scene, then I would say if he's that angry, he's still a little ticked off about what happened with
Satine. I wouldn't mind that though. I wouldn't mind if like he sees Maul and has that
revenge moment.
Kind of like when he was fighting him in the Phantom Menace. He touched on the bad side there and kind of gave into his anger a little bit. I wouldn't mind that. It's a nice homage to the prequels there. But I don't know. It's a scene where you got to question everything. So
and he never had that moment either. Like in even that last series there, right after she dies, we see him again. After he's just kind of completely broken down.
Mm-hmm.
But then he's like right back to himself all over again, like nothing really happened. And that always bothered me.
He's a stoic Jedi.
Well, maybe, but I mean, at the same time, it's also. I mean, you're not going to have you don't want Kenobi sulking around for a bunch of kids watching the show. It doesn't make for good quality television for in the long run. But he never really had that moment, in at least not to my recollection, of him being just angry about what that guy did, because he murders her basically in cold blood right in front of him just to make him hurt.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Hopefully that'll be what's going on there.
We'll see.
Next shot. This definitely looks like a Death Watch Mando. There was one that I remember who had like the horns, like Darth Maul.
Wasn't that the what's the dude that was in Rebels there? The Saxton? Is it Saxton? I thought he had the horns at one point. Or am I wrong? I don't know. It's a little fuzzy. I'll have to go back and take a look at that.
I don't remember if he had horns, to be honest, or not either.
I know a few of them did.
But this character...
during that time. And then the Armorer has horns on her thing, so...
That's all probably legacy stuff from Death Watch.
Yeah, could be.
But there is one trooper. There's one Mandalorian in season 6 that looks exactly like this, and he's only in a few shots, and he never says anything.
He's in.
So I'm assuming this is the same dude that they're doing. I just don't know what he's doing.
It could be.
He looks like he's sniping something, or someone coming down. But anyways, he's got a cool helmet. I like him. The Mando's blowing up stuff on the bridge. You got Ahsoka Tano doing her running alongside the bike thing. We saw that from Celebration. More Bad Batch stuff, and then we get to the scene with Padme and Anakin. So what's the controversy here?
Well, because Anakin doesn't notice she's pregnant, and he doesn't find out until Revenge of the Sith. Not only that, her belly isn't that far as it was in Revenge of the Sith. I don't believe it doesn't look. Now, some people are saying, well, Anakin being a typical guy he might not have noticed. Right? Yeah, because he's looking at her face on. He's not really looking at the side like we are. So that's a possibility. Plus, she's wearing the same outfit from Revenge of the Sith when she goes and meets him on Mustafar. So there's that.
So maybe she was trying to like hint at it, and this dude just
it could be.
Okay, see you later. Didn't notice, and then
exactly.
He's like, dang it! Now I got to go see him in person. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, because he really does lose his mind when she tells him. Because he's like, huh? Typical guy. But
how did this happen?
We got to explain this to you, Anakin. I don't know. I think it's one of those things where it just doesn't register with him, because I think she's trying to hint at it, and he just doesn't. He's brain dead at that point.
He's got a lot going on, man.
But yeah, well, that's true. So does she. But I think Dave. Listen, I trust in Dave, and he's going to tell that right. It just may look. It's one of the scenes. It's just like we said with Ahsoka and Obi-Wan. There, we don't have enough information to. All we can do is speculate on this, that, or the other. So I don't think Dave is going to screw up Revenge of the Sith or any of that. I don't think that's going to happen. So I think people should calm down a little bit. We'll get more answers some point soon.
Yep.
So,
next scene, next shot's got a space battle. A lot of stuff blowing up.
Now, is that space battle?
I don't know where the space battle is
above Coruscant.
I guess it doesn't have to be.
Is it Coruscant? It seems like it. Although it doesn't look like there's as many ships as Coruscant was, but I don't know. It's just
and you only got like, at least on my count, you got like 4 Star Destroyers coming in. And we're seeing the separatist side of it, of all of it. So
is it the beginning though? Maybe it's the beginning. I don't know.
Oh, maybe this is the start of it. Wouldn't that be cool? Like we get to see how it got to where we see it in Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, because you did in the micro series, you got to see that side of the battle, like the kidnapping of the Chancellor and all that other stuff. So it'd be a nice little homage to the micro series of like, hey, this is kind of the beginning of it, but we'll see.
Oh no, there's another one up there. I don't know. It's a good thought. I didn't catch that. Then we've got Y-Wings, the old school Y-Wings coming in, bombing a bunch of droids. Yep. That's cool. Ahsoka's friends reaching up for something. I'm imagining Ahsoka. I don't know what's going on here.
Probably.
Anakin just hacking off a clanker head there. All right. And then we get to Kenobi.
Giving the message. No, we see maybe the message. I don't know.
He looks upset.
No, because we kind of see that. Yeah, well, this has got to be after the fact, right? Maybe this is him after the fact as well.
I would think so, because maybe he's got his hood drawn.
Like, is this Tatooine, like him looking off at Luke? And if they're doing the Kenobi thing, this would be a nice tie-in for that. You know what I mean? Like if they do this like After Effect thing with Vader, Ahsoka, Rex, and Kenobi, you could even add Maul into this mix, right? Because they all get resolved further down the line here, but it connects all that, right? Like you get their moments of reflecting on what just happened with the Clone Wars and then where they're going to go from here. That'd be cool if they did that. I don't know if they will. I don't know if they'll do it, but But I think this is like these certain shots, like this shot would make you lead to believe, almost like what we saw in Rebels. Remember when he was looking at Luke? Kind of maybe the same thing. Like after he drops Luke off, he's kind of maybe off in the distance looking or something. Yeah. I don't know. It'd be interesting.
I'm with you. At least I'm feeling this is I'm feeling a vibe that this is definitely and the tail end of this season, that because he's got his hood on there. This is the look that we expect from what we see him in, obviously in episode 4, and and we see him overlooking in that flashback scene from, well, not really a flashback, but you know what I mean, from Rebels and all that. This is it, right? So this is the start of it. So I'm with you there. Another battle. We got a quick shots in here. The only one that's interesting is Ahsoka reaching down and holding some trooper's hand, and you can't tell who the heck that is.
Now, it's either Jesse or Rex.
Well, Rex wouldn't be down. I mean, unless he was hurt.
Well, he might be. Well, he is hurt in the trailer. You see him. She's kind of dragging him along. Like when the doors close at the end there, she's protecting him. But we'll get to that in a second.
You're right. No, I didn't put 2 and 2 together on that one. So yeah, I'm going to go with that. I'm changing my answer. That is Rex. Just like that.
Because maybe she thinks he's dead, but then realizes he's alive, and then she's got to drag him out of there. But anyway, we'll continue.
And then we get the big scene.
Yeah,
this is Maul
big moment
versus Ahsoka Tano. They're in the throne room.
A lot of things have happened in that throne room, man. A lot of lightsaber battles.
Yeah, Pre Vizsla get his head cut off. Duchess was killed in here.
Duchess, Obi-Wan, everything. Like, it was crazy. Now these two.
Did they fight Sidious in here?
No,
is that somewhere else?
I don't think so. That was somewhere else, I thought.
Okay.
I think the back throne room. I think. In the
right. Forgot. There's always
the
a
house.
back one
I think. Yeah. There's the luxury one, like the suite or something. I don't know. This is I was so excited to see this. Like I was like so upset that they cut. like we didn't get to see it. I was like, come on, show it.
This is what we've been waiting for. This and the siege itself. At least I have, anyways. And it does. You can see in the background. It's subtle, but I like that it's super quiet here. But yet in the background, you can tell with the explosions going off that there's chaos. All around them. This is just gonna be really cool.
Yeah.
She's got her double blue lightsabers. He's got his typical double wielding red. And then it cuts and everybody gets upset. More battle stuff. This next scene here is right out of Bad Batch. It looks way better again. It's the very end, actually. The very last. Well, sorry, I didn't mean to spoil it, but that's where that's from. It's from Bad Batch. And then we get Ahsoka Tano and somebody else. Looks like one of the carriers or transports is getting blown up. Another scene of what looks to be Skywalker and some troopers defending themselves on some kind of little spire. Cool. Yeah. I mean, it's just like a bunch of random shots. The only really good one I think here is Maul throwing that door or whatever it is into some clone troopers that are coming in.
Order 66 is coming to get them.
And these guys all they're wearing their orange helmets.
Yeah. Well, that's because that's when they've turned. Because my theory is that Maul and Ahsoka kind of team up unintentionally, so to speak, to get the heck out of Dodge and to save Rex. Well, Ahsoka's saving Rex, but I think they do split up. And it goes to that whole comment in Rebels, Lady Tano. Like, he calls her almost respectful. Like there was a reason why they kind of both didn't have animosity when they first run into each other there, is like because they saved each other's butt. Yeah. Because I'm wondering if Maul finds out when he's probing Jesse that he's on the hit list.
Yeah, maybe.
That he was part of the plan was to have him taken out as well. Because he was going to have Anakin all along as his apprentice. So he didn't need Maul, right? So maybe that's what happens. That's my theory. I don't know. You agree, disagree?
No,
what do you think?
I kind of well, I wouldn't say I foresaw this coming, but I can see Maul looking out for himself only, right? It's all purely selfish that he's willing to team up with Ahsoka. And if Ahsoka's in a position where it's team up with him or, run the risk of losing Rex and other people, then I think she's going to side with him.
Yeah, and I think that's why I think Ahsoka's a little more at ease with when Maul's around in Rebels. Like, she's not completely put off in a sense. Like, I know she knows what she's got to do and she doesn't trust him fully, but I don't think she realizes that he's kind of a two-way, like he can be this or that, but he is in for himself, but only if it's going to benefit him in the sense that, like, all right, so I'll keep you around as long as it benefits me. And I think that's kind of, which leads into Rebels, right? When we see him in Rebels and we're wondering why he's trying to help Kanan and Ezra in a sense, like an uneasy truce with them. That's kind of this is kind of the seeds for that, I guess you could say.
In my head, there's a funny moment here where Darth Maul and Ahsoka are standing there and they're being attacked by clone troopers. And Maul says, they're coming after the Jedi. I'm no Jedi. And then Ahsoka says, I'm not either, right?
Exactly. So there's that mutual understanding.
Right. But they're both being attacked by these guys.
Like, exactly. And I think it's funny because I think when they're talking in like Maul, that whole speech is like him telling her like things are going down and we're both on the list. So, we either work together or we're not going to survive. So yeah, that's, I think it'll be fun. It'll be interesting and kind of epic. I hope we get them fighting, having their thing, and then, then they kind of got to do their thing together, and then they kind of go separate ways. I'm curious how that will be, like, when they got to part ways. Will it be a honorable kind of thing? Because, like, even when you go to, like, Obi-Wan and Maul in their last confrontation, when he was full of revenge, but when he gets cut down, he's finally at peace himself. But, what he says to Obi-Wan is, like, he kind of knows what's the deal is here. But he seems like at peace, and, I don't know. I think it'd be a nice connection.
I see them as soon as this is over and they're in the clearing. I think they just both go their ways, and there's not really much to it because I don't think either one wants it. They're both on the run at this point from a much more powerful enemy, that being Palpatine and Vader, obviously. But and then there's a couple other quick scenes here, flashes. We're not gonna get to those. And then it ends with Ahsoka standing on there, and she's in a really cool stance. I love this shot of her. And it looks like she's protecting Rex, right? So that's a trailer.
That's it.
All right.
Pretty cool.
Thank you. Good night.
Yeah, bye. We're out of here.
So I guess question for you. What do you... Well, let's get to the Bad Batch. Because I know, and I'm with you, because the Bad Batch almost... I won't say it feels out of place.
It seems like a filler episode, right?
That's the thing, though. Is it? If they okay, based on what we know right now, yes, it does feel like 12. It's a filler. But if they play a prominent role in the Siege of Mandalore, then I think it's all worth it. I would like to see that. Like, I would definitely like to see it, because I have questions. Like when we did the Bad Batch series, we ended those episodes talking about, okay, so where are they and what happened to them and what was their point and all of that, right? And I think this would definitely answer some of those questions, that they were there and they are so cool, they're so badass, but at the same time, they're just another casualty of war, because this was much bigger than them and they couldn't survive it.
I'm just well, I mean, I don't mind if they die. And it's another tragedy in this whole fiasco, right? But I would also like if somehow they don't have a chip in them. I don't know if they do or not. I can't remember. I thought they kind of think independently or something like that. Like that's why they're a little off or whatever.
It was never. I'm wondering they never mentioned it in the series, not in the Bad Batch episodes, anyways.
That's what I mean. Like it's not. I would like to see them maybe help Rex and Wolf, along the way, maybe. And then they kind of go off and do that. But then you get the question of, well, where the hell were they during Rebels? Because these guys they're fighters, right? They wouldn't just go in the cower unless they decide to join Ahsoka and they go off and maybe die later on or something. And we'll see that at another date. I don't know, but to your point, I can see where it would feel like filler material. But again, if they do tie it into that, then that eases the pain a little bit there. So they're cool. They're a cool episode. So if you have not had a chance to watch them, I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised. They're really neat, and they're very different than all the other clones, for good reason. And they do some cool stuff, some unbelievable stuff, if you will. So I guess last question before we get out of here, at least on this, what are you looking forward to most? I mean, there's obviously a lot going on. There's things that are happening within this season, let alone things that are going to tie into stuff that came before and obviously after. But what are you looking forward to most? Is it just the finale of it all? Is it the sending off of a proper sending off of the Clone Wars because we never felt like we got it? Is it all of that? And then I'm hoping, I don't know, I don't know if they'll do it because it's just my wish as a fan that they show the aftermath for the main characters, like at least a minute each of them kind of reflecting or something.
Dealing with what just happened?
Yeah, and even for us as an audience that's taken the journey with all of these characters over the years and kind of just being finally at peace with all of it, or moving on, so to speak. Not so much for the characters. They got all that turmoil they have to deal with, right? But for us, it would be nice to have that. But I'm looking forward to all of it. I'm curious how, I guess if that doesn't happen, my second thing would be how close it gets to Order 66. Like, I'm most looking forward to seeing if it's right up to or if it's just intertwined with it. I like the whole intertwining thing, but I'd be fine if they just bring it up to that point and we get Revenge of the Sith and it just continues from there. You know what I mean? So, how about you? What about you?
Yeah, all of it, really. And that's a cop-out answer. But I guess if I'm...
well, it's an easy answer, to be honest. I mean, because we've waited so long, right?
If I had to go on record as and just pick one thing that I'm looking forward to the most, it's going to have to be the Siege of Mandalore itself. And that supersedes, like, the Ahsoka Tano versus Darth Maul battle. It supersedes Order 66. That is something that is always, it's been one of those, like, mystified me in a lot of different ways ever since we found out about it. And being able to finally, and then when Ahsoka in the novel, when we read that, I mean, it got me super excited again about it. But it's always one of those things where it's always been in your head, much like it's the closest thing to it. And it's maybe not at the same level, but the closest thing to it for me personally has always been thinking back when, Return of the Jedi, when Obi-Wan is talking to Luke and he's telling him that, at one point, about his father and they're serving the Clone Wars, right? And we know at some point later on, we find out that they actually did have a battle and it was on this lava planet that we didn't know the name of, right? And he lost all his arms. In our heads, we'd already put together what all that was going to look like. And so that, to me, when Revenge of the Sith came out, that was the one thing I was so hyper focused on, which most of us were. We're finally going to get to see this. We'd talked about it. It had been rumored and, it was a great battle, but we never got to truly visually see it. And so it's shades of that for me, like being able to, Siege of Mandalore is something we've always talked about and we know it existed and we have it in our own heads about how it turned out. And we're finally going to get an opportunity to kind of see what that looks like and really reconcile whether or not, we were close or off or is even better than we could have possibly imagined. So that to me is what I'm looking forward the most. On top of that, though, I'm looking forward to the Ahsoka Tano and Darth Maul fight. I want to see the Bad Batch because I did enjoy those episodes and just see how they play into the next part of this series, if anything. And then I think this does really well. I think it does a lot for the Mandalorian TV series as well. I think people are going to be able to kind of get some additional backstory here that they wouldn't have gotten, without going back and watching all 6 seasons of the Clone Wars, which I don't think a lot of people are going to do. But this is something they can pick up and, get a little background on Bo-Katan and the Darksaber and who knows, right? I mean, this is all good for the series.
Well, I think it just connects very well, and it's probably going to be connecting even better when it's all said and done with Mandalorian, Rebels, you name it, all that. It just weaves in really good. Revenge of the Sith and, A New Hope and all that stuff. So I look forward to it. And maybe even Rogue One, it kind of fits in somehow or some way. So you never know. I mean, I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, it's kind of sad in one way that it's over, but I'm glad they're giving it a proper, send off. And this is it. I think it's great that they said, it's funny because I do believe this is it for that. Like the Skywalker saga. No, it'll be back someday. Right. I might not be around, but they'll do it again. They'll come back with that because it's a cash cow. But this, I think it's a good way to just, all right, let's end that.
Yeah, I think we're done with the Clone Wars at this point. It's sad. It's hard.
Now that doesn't mean we won't get something in that era again. Maybe it'll be a one-off, but I don't think we're coming back.
No, I mean, this, we'll save this when we get to the very end of season 7. We're doing our kind of final thoughts on the Clone Wars itself. Which, man, that's going to be a lot of homework. But I will say, and I've said this in the show before, the show itself, the Clone Wars, I mean, really opens up your mind to everything that Star Wars is. Because when the movie came out, Attack of the Clones, and we know that there was some time passed that between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, there was a gap there. And I don't think any of us, and the creators themselves, right? I mean, as amazing as Filoni and Lucas are, I doubt that they really had all of this in their head in terms of just how grand of a scope this thing could possibly be. Or maybe the potential was there in their heads at least, right? But going back now, retrospectively, and looking at just how much content we get from the Clone Wars and just what all happened and what transpired during that gap, I mean, it's just it exceeds any of our expectations. And I think it really enriches our Star Wars experience, whether you're watching that series or the original trilogies or Rebels or, Mandalorian, right? All of this stuff, there's a lot of stuff that came out of the Clone Wars, and it's got, all the reason to kind of just hold their head up proud with the amount of stuff that happened. I mean, it's been a great series and a great experience. So if you get a chance, go watch this if you haven't had it, and watch it a few times too. You'll be better for it.
Oh, I certainly will, sir. I still do. My daughter does every day. So,
Okay, well, we'll end the main show there. As far as shoutouts go, let's get to that real quick. We've got one new Discord and Patreon member, both same person, J Movie Mac. Thank you so much for joining Discord, and especially for your money. Now, thanks for helping financially. And it's funny because I think he came on, or he or she, and I'm sorry, I'm just assuming based on the name, but he or she came on and said they'd been listening to the show for like 2 years or something. So they'd been already, been a listener of the show and had never really thought to do the contribution stuff. So it's greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for doing that. So
yes, thank you for keeping the lights on.
What do we got going on the network?
Well, if you're into arcades, retro gaming, and all that stuff, you can listen to me on my 3/4 to Play podcast, which covers mostly arcade one-up stuff. But anything home arcade kind of ish, in the 3/4 size. Although I've been looking at some full-size pinballs, one of them being Star Wars and then the other one being Stranger Things.
Seeing your post. You've got that itch. I can tell. It's coming.
I really need to just win Powerball for a whole number of reasons. Because I'm into a lot of expensive things, as my wife will tell me. And, it doesn't always lead to good times for me. Well, actually it does. But in any case, yeah. So I'm doing that. You can also listen to the guys at the Film Appraisers. They get some good stuff. I think they went and saw 1917 over the weekend, so they'll be doing that. And I haven't had a chance to see that yet, and I got to get there and check that out because I love war movies, so I got to get my butt there.
Yeah, same thing.
Other than that, that's it. That's all I got for the network right now.
Cool.
Yeah. So
take a look at that stuff. What that was.
Yeah. That was me just going.
We'll need to edit that out.
Yeah.
Or you can do something funny.
No, I'll leave it in.
Okay. Quality program you're listening to here, folks.
Oh yeah, it's the end of the show. No one listens to this part of the show, so it's fine.
Well,
now everybody's gonna. Yeah, I'm gonna get a lot of email.
All
anyway,
right. Well, with that, we'll be back next week with 311 the band. No, I'm sorry, episode 311.
Yes, great. Yes, the band. I love the band. Yeah. Well, this is why your taste in music is horrible.
I've been told that many times by you.
And you'll be told many more times. So, by the way, I'm listening to this audiobook, the history of arcade games or video games, and it's pretty good. They got to a section where they were talking about the video game journey.
Oh, nice!
And I almost crashed into a tree because of that stupid game. And I was like, oh God, it just haunts me. It's horrible. But anyway.
So for those of you that are wondering what the heck is going on, and if you haven't turned the TV radio off by now or whatever you're listening to, there's a little gig I had last year that I'm going to be doing again here soon, which is the basement. And we had an opportunity to talk about video games. And we at one point, I think we got into what were some of our favorite old classic video games. And one of the ones at the top of my list was the Journey game. And
which is
based on the band, it had a cassette tape in the actual cabinet, so that it points. This is so cool. I can't believe I'm getting to geek out. You brought it up, so now you're gonna stick with it. So at some point when you're playing the game, the band would go up on stage and they would start playing, and so then they would flip over to the audio tape inside the cabinet, and it would play a Journey song. And then it would come out, and then you'd have to go play the game, the actual game part again, or whatever. Anyways, this drove Rondo pretty nuts. He hated this whole concept, hated the band, hated the whole thing. So.
Yep. Well, it's not that I hate the band. It's just it's over. It's like it's everywhere. The music, like every party, every wedding, every junior prom or whatever. It's like all right, enough.
Girl.
Oh, stop it! That one.
You want me to take us out on the singing?
No.
Okay.
No, please still. We just got to end the show right now before we get into a debate over this. Anyway.
Episode 311 will be next week. We're coming back with the Rise of Skywalker listener questions and answers. Probably more questions and answers, but we'll have that to you guys very soon. All right. Last comment, last thoughts?
Let's just get out of here. And Journey's horrible. That game is horrible.
He's wrong. Okay, we'll see you next week.
Totally right. You're still listening? Wow. That's amazing. Well, I'm here to give you the disclaimer. Normally we do a big, long, drawn-out disclaimer thing saying what's what and who's what and all that other stuff, but I think you guys kind of know that Lucasfilm and Disney have no affiliation with us at all, and we have none with them. We talk about Star Wars, which is their property, and all that other good, fun stuff, but I think you can tell which is our stuff and which is their stuff. If you can't, well, then send a lawyer to send an email to me, and I'll be glad to chat with them. Other than that, you know what's what, so that's your disclaimer.